Brian here, and in today's video I want to ask you, have you ever felt invisible in dating? Have you ever felt like all the other guys are getting all the dates, the attention, are getting all the energy from women, and you're just not getting any? And you might be doing everything right. Well, I went through this very thing, and I want to talk in this video about what I did to change it, and how when it changed, it was shocking, the difference, and we're going to get right into that in a few moments here. In the meantime, I want to welcome you to Bucharest, Romania. This is a beautiful country. I've been here a lot. This is one of their parks, and let's get started. See, I'm here in Bucharest doing an event, and I've done several events here, and this theme kind of came up. I see guys that have a lot of talent. I've seen this over the years, and I saw it in myself, that are technically on paper perfect. They might have a good job, they might look great, they might be handsome, they might be tall, they might be running game perfectly, and still they're not getting dates. And in this video, we're going to talk about why that is. Because when I made this switch in my life and I really saw what was going on here, it was suddenly shocking how women started showing up in my life. How I would have date night after night, and before I couldn't get a date to save my life. And how much easier it was to attract the women and keep them attracted once I got this piece. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Before I get started, I want to invite you to like, subscribe, and share, and put a comment in the video. I appreciate that. The comments really help everybody to grow, so I'm in there always checking them out. Now let's dive in. So first thing I want to do is talk about my turning point. My turning point was really interesting. When I made this turn, everything changed for me. I already said that. But what the secret was that I realized was that I wasn't really letting women in. I wasn't really connecting with women. I was entertaining women. I was seeking approval. Even when I ran really good game, it actually got worse. I remember the first time experiencing this. I didn't quite understand the principle even after doing this, but I was hanging out with a friend. He was not a pickup guy. And he asked me, he said, show me you talking to women. Show me, like, we're gonna get on this elevator. I want you to talk to this pretty girl. I want you to flirt with her. And this was many years ago. And I got on the elevator and I started flirting with this girl, this cute Asian girl. And I ran some lines, I did some banter, I cracked some jokes. And we got off the elevator and he said, that was amazing. Like, you were awesome. You really killed it. And you know what? She's never gonna call you back. She's not gonna go on a date with you. And I was like, what? And I said, why? And he says, because you weren't being real with her. You weren't being authentic. You weren't basically letting her in. He didn't use those words. I don't remember the exact words he used. But what he said to me was very profound. And at the same time, I didn't understand it. I wanted to see what he was talking about. So he demonstrated talking to a woman. And I remember the two women he talked to. I remember how he spoke with them. And what I remember was he did way less. He actually simplified it so much. He just relaxed and he actually enjoyed the women. I noticed this connection starting to happen through his eyes, through his body to the woman. I noticed the women getting pulled into him, something I call leaning in. I noticed the women getting curious about him. There was almost like this little bit of tension and chemistry between them. And what I began to realize was it wasn't about what he said, it was about this tension, this moment, this letting him in, this energy, this flow of energy. Now, I spent years developing the ability to do that better and better, because for some reason, the easiest thing in the world is to do this, yet it's so hard at first for some guys to get. But once you get it, it changes everything. Now, I want you to understand, when she sees you, hear this, she's feeling you. She is feeling your emotions. She's feeling your vibration. She's feeling your intention. She's not analytically thinking about you. Is this guy a good mate? She's feeling into that. Women are feeling beings. And when you begin to realize this and stop using your mind so much to try to seduce women and start focusing on this letting them in, you're going to begin to feel them too. That ability to let them in is very important for the success of the interaction. So I want to reiterate this. What you feel, she feels. If you feel unworthy, she will sense it. If you are overthinking, she's going to pick up on that. If you are resentful and you got buried anger towards women, she's going to feel that too. If you are walled off, she's probably going to feel unsafe around you. Doesn't matter how much game you have, doesn't matter how entertaining you are, doesn't matter how well dressed you are, doesn't matter how good looking you are, it's going to be a no most likely for her. And I got another story to illustrate this. There was a woman I knew who she worked for me in my workshop. So she just broke up. She was hot, young Asian thing, and she just broke up with her boyfriend of many years. And she just wanted to have some fun. And there was this really good looking guy. She kept saying he was so good looking, he was so handsome, and I just wanted to have sex with him. I was free, I wanted to have sex with him. So we went out on a date, and she said, I was ready to have sex with him before the date. And the problem was he didn't connect with me, the exact words she used, all night long. And he just walked around and he was kind of walled off, and nothing really went anywhere. Matter of fact, I could barely feel him, and we hardly touched, we hardly connected, nothing. And then we went back to his place, and I still wanted to have sex with him, she said. But something interesting happened. He walked upstairs, got into his bathrobe, and came down basically in his robe with nothing else, and acting like we were going to move this forward. We were going to end up getting intimate. And she said it really pissed me off. Here's this guy not connecting with me, basically not letting me in, she's saying. And she was also indicating that, it was almost rude. Here's this guy not letting her in. Here's this guy not connecting with her. And she started indicating that it was like really rude. She felt it insulting, and she couldn't sleep with him. She couldn't have sex with him, even though she decided to before the date. She said she was really mad at him because she wanted to sleep with him, and I want you to hear that. But because he didn't give her this one key ingredient, she couldn't do it. So I really want you to hear that women get this. They may not be able to put it into words. They may not know exactly what it is, but it's a very real thing. So I want to add one caveat. You don't have to be perfect at this. If you can do a little bit, you're way ahead of the game. You're ahead of most guys. The key here is that you do it a little bit, and if you lose it, just recover. Just practice getting it back. Maybe you'll lose it for a minute here, 30 seconds there, but the woman can really respect that you lose it and get it back. See, in her mind, when you lose it and get it back, this is a guy I can grow with. She's not perfect. You're not perfect. Neither of you are going to do this perfect. But the little bit really tells her that you're going to have those moments that count, that you care, that when you disconnect, you work to get it back. Now, I'm going to give you a real story again about this. Just recently, I had a student here in Bucharest, and he met a girl at the spa here, Terme, and he said, I was connecting with her and I was letting her in, the very thing I've been teaching so much of. And she was really feeling it, and it was really powerful. And I could see her lean in. I could see her getting close to me, getting curious. And he said, then suddenly something happened and I got in my head. And he said it was wild to watch how I could feel her almost pulling back in that moment. And he says, I could never see this before, but now I could clearly see the moment I got in my head, how the disconnection started to happen. She started to pull away. He said it ultimately didn't matter because I got it back, and we ended up dating, and they ended up having a wild little fling. Like, he was here in Bucharest. She was from England. He was from Bucharest. And he said it was an amazing experience, and I like her a lot. I'm probably going to go see her again. But the fact that he could catch that, and he could see her pull away, and then he could see her come back when she got it back, or when he got it back, was really telling about how powerful this is and how important this is. Now, before I continue on, I want to invite you to like, subscribe, and share, and hit that bell notification. And definitely put a comment in the video. Those comments really help everybody to grow, and I truly appreciate it. And I'm always in there the first week checking them out and responding to them. Okay, here I'm in my new spot under my umbrella. It was starting to rain on the lens a bit, and I didn't want you guys to have to look at raindrops through the whole video. So let's continue on. The second thing I want to talk about in this video, that's an important little caveat, is you don't have to be, you don't have to get rid of your lower emotions. You don't have to get rid of your fear and your sadness and your anger to connect. This is what I mean by vulnerability. And vulnerability, I don't mean neediness. I don't mean letting her see how broken you are inside. I mean letting her see that you're hurt, that you're scared or happy or excited, letting her just basically see your emotions, and that you can own them and that you can handle them. Yeah, I'm sad and I can handle it. I'm a man. That's the attitude. Or yeah, I'm angry and I'm right here connected to you. I'm not breaking from the connection. That's the power of letting somebody in. When you truly know as a man you can handle your emotions, you can let a woman see what you're feeling, and that makes her feel really safe and attracted. And we're going to go deeper into what that is and how that works here in a second. So I want to remind you that you don't have to be happy all the time. You can be a whole range of emotions. Like, let's say, for example, you see that couple, you see it in movies, I've seen it in real life, that couple that fights and gets angry, and the guy gets in his head and she gets mad, and they don't talk for a while. They just pull apart. But then there's the other couple, that couple that fights and gets angry, and they stay right here, and the guy's like right in the connection. I'm actually thinking of a movie, I think it's called The Mexican, with Brad Pitt and I believe it was Julia Roberts, where they're fighting, but they're getting more turned on sometimes when they fight. They're getting into this sexual tension together, and it leads to them making love or getting turned on. And I've seen this so much in the real world. It's because they're staying in. It's because they're staying in that connection. So your ability to really own your emotions is true vulnerability. When you can't own your emotions, when you're afraid of your emotions and you're running from them, that's neediness, and that's what we want to avoid. So this ability to own your emotions comes from releasing and from revealing. It's the level of courage and above. When you start to master courage and you begin to understand what it is to release and reveal, through courage, through the application of courage, you really begin to change your life, not just with women, but at every level. You become more powerful, you become more confident, you become more successful. So I would highly encourage you to check out our Revealing course. We're going to be launching a new membership site with a lot of deep study on that course coming up in about a month or so. So keep an eye out for that. Sign up for my mailing list at brianbegin.com, if you want to be on the mailing list and be notified when that comes out. Or, that's basically it. And I think that course is going to be powerful. You can also check out Dr. Hawkins' book, Let It Go. But the study of courage, this is something I do unique. I really study courage and above. And I mastered that to really hold that state, so that when I feel some sadness, I'm sad, so what? I can own it. I can move through my sadness. And that, oddly enough, is very sexy and very powerful to other human beings. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is and I got my notes here, what letting a woman in feels like. For me, when I let a woman in, it's about owning this part of my body, the center pillar. When I let a woman in, it's about owning the center pillar of my body. It's about being able to connect to it. And what I get is a nice little warmth in my chest. It's like a little pop and an opening, and I can feel the world more. And that warmth is most likely like an oxytocin response. It feels really good, and it can be very, very subtle at first and can grow with time. Sometimes there's a little sadness in there, but it feels like I can still breathe. I can feel the world through that part of my body. And so I want you to start to think about that and cultivate that. We do a lot of meditations on this in the videos. The full body scan really helps with this, and a bunch of my other meditations. You can find them on the YouTube channel. Just check them out. I can feel the ground beneath my feet. I feel the earth. I feel the weight of my body. If I'm sitting in one of these chairs over here, I feel the weight of the chair. I feel really supported, like this earth has me. It's got my back. I also feel the back of my body a lot. I rest in my spine and my back, and it's like I'm creating space by resting on my back like a riverbed, feeling the ground supported by the earth itself, and feeling my heart, the openness to let a woman in. And that's largely what meditations like the full body scan help to cultivate, is this ability to let her in. I also get a little pop of curiosity a lot of times. I've really cultivated the ability to feel this open heart, warm, fuzzy energy to let them in. And then I've also cultivated the ability to feel curiosity and appreciation, different emotions like that, even in the midst of sadness. And I can go into that curiosity at will. I open my heart, and I let that energy from my heart roll up to my eyes, to my smile, and I just receive and let her in. And that receiving is really powerful. There's a sense for me that I'm not going to her as much. I'm not reaching out and trying to get to her. There's a sense I'm relaxing into my back and the ground, and then I'm letting the awareness of her consciousness roll through me or towards me. It's like I create a conduit to her, and then I open a channel for energy to come through that conduit to me, like electricity through a wire. But instead of electricity, it's her consciousness, and I feel her with my heart. I bring her down to the stomach, literally, and I feel her in the center pillar of my body, because my body is the feeling mechanism. You couldn't feel any of these emotions without the body. So the body is the mechanism through which this happens. Now, if you're really letting her in and she opens up to you, she's going to feel it too. She's going to feel your emotions. She's going to feel your resonance. We call this being in resonance. And you're going to feel hers too. You might feel her sadness. You might feel her curiosity. You might feel a twinge of turn on. You might feel this sense of her energy leaning into you. And that's how you're really going to know. It's a pretty powerful feeling, really. And she'll feel what you're feeling. So that's why you got to get comfortable with your emotions. If she can feel what you're feeling and you're super comfortable with it, the whole range of emotions, that denotes true confidence. That's sexy to her. Now, if you get really good at this, it's a little more advanced. You're going to start to notice that energies are going to start to, as you connect more and more, you're going to start to get, let's say, turned on. You're going to feel that localized in the hips. If you can take that turn on, this is a little more advanced. I'm not going to get so much into this today, and I want to create a video on this. And you can run it up your spine a little bit to your heart and to your smile. She really feels that charm on you. Think of James Dean. Think of Elvis back in the day. Think of the great seducers from the old world TV shows. You could see them doing it. The charm in their eyes and their smile and their playfulness. So if you want to see me do a video on that, and I can talk about some of these older seducers, I would gladly do that. Definitely put a comment in the video. So the last thing I want to say in this section is, this is what naturals are doing. They're literally letting women in and then feeling the women's emotions. This is how they seem to know what to say, when to say it, because the information is in here. She's coming in here, and you're going in a sense into her, and you can feel and respond. Instead of thinking about what to say, it just like pops into your mind spontaneously, because you can see it clearly. I can see this grass is green, so I can talk about the grass being green. I can see that it's winter. I can talk about it being winter. I can talk about it raining because it's raining. I can feel all these emotions, sensations. I can feel her curiosity or appreciation or turn on or sadness in conversation, so I know exactly what questions to ask. So with all this said, I want to kind of tie it all together. And I want you to realize that letting her in means allowing her to feel what's real inside of you. Letting her in means allowing her to feel what's real inside of you. And it's not about being perfect, it's about being present. That's what this really denotes to her, is this man knows how to be present in the now. So he knows how to handle the shit when the shit hits the fan, including emotions, including my emotions, which allows her to feel so much more safe and to really enjoy life with you. Because this is why we're dating in the first place, is to have these letting in, connected, bubble-like moments where we go into our space together, and her feminine recharges your masculine, and your masculine feeds her feminine, and we create a circuit. And when we lose that ability, we create resentment. Everything begins to fall apart. And this is why this work is so important, not just for dating, but for relationships too. I have a lot of married clients. So again, I want to just say, the secret isn't about what you say. It's about what you let her feel, make her feel, help her to feel in relationship to what you're feeling. So with all that said, if you've been feeling invisible, this could be why. Because when I got this right, when I figured this out and I started letting women in, it was shocking how many dates I got. And when I let women in on the date and I practiced just creating a contained space for them to enjoy themselves, it was amazing how much they would get turned on, how they would lean in, how we would have these moments of sexual charge, and I could feel it amplify between us, and how they loved it, how they wanted to help in the seduction, the movement forward, and I didn't have to work so hard. They would create little scenarios where we would touch more, connect more, and it would just happen so naturally. And it was also amazing how much easier it was. So this could be the reason you're feeling invisible. That men don't learn this skill. This is a skill that took me years to figure out. I wish I'd figured it out years sooner. But now that I'm teaching it to clients and I'm seeing it over and over and over again in my clients, and I'm seeing them get it, it blows my mind. It just blows my mind how all this hard work we've been doing for so many years was kind of in the wrong direction. It's much simpler than you think. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I definitely invite you again to comment. I love those comments. I'll be checking them out. Definitely subscribe. Definitely go to brianvasion.com. Put your email in if you want to be ready for the next Revealing Mastery course and all the other materials we've got coming out. We got a lot coming out soon. And remember, only the courageous really live. See you in the next video.